May it please the court. My name is Gordon Wilson. I am counsel for the defendant, Mr. Chris Archer. Your Honours, there is no question that what happened on the night of November 20th was a tragic occurrence. Miss Milan Jackson fell to her death from the top of the clock tower at Columbia University while pledging to the Phi Gamma fraternity. No one in this court will dispute that this was a tragic loss of a young life, but it was a tragic accident. Your Honours, this is a case about life, one tragically taken away and another that you hold in your hands. My client, Mr. Chris Archer, is the president of the Phi Gamma fraternity. He is charged with involuntary manslaughter and violating the criminal anti-hazing statute. Your Honours, the only fact that can be said with absolute certainty in this case are that Miss Jackson was at the top of the clock tower and that she tragically fell to her death. Any other story will contain a significant amount of reasonable doubt. Now, you may find hazing, or indeed Greek life on campus, to be odious. You may find the activity of pledging to be unpleasant, but that does not make Mr. Archer guilty. You hold a life in your hands, a young man's future. Your Honours, the prosecution's case will depend on hearsay, not on facts. The evidence will show that no one heard or saw Mr. Archer tell Miss Jackson to take the flag and recklessly climb to the top of the clock tower. The evidence will show that Mr. Archer reached out to try and help Miss Jackson moments before she fell. The evidence will show that Miss Jackson had been drinking on the night of November 20th. The prosecution will try and convince you that Mr. Archer is responsible for the death of Miss Jackson. They need to prove this beyond all reasonable doubt. Your Honours, the evidence will show you that Mr. Archer is, in fact, an upstanding member of the community and that he is not guilty. We will call 4 witnesses today. We will hear from Pat Smith, a friend of Miss Jackson. She will testify that Miss Jackson had been drinking on the night of November 20th. She will testify that she saw Mr. Archer reach out to Miss Jackson moments before she fell to her death. We will hear from Tyler Johnson, the Vice President of the Phi Gamma fraternity. He will say that Mr. Archer was picked ahead of him for the post of president and how much that angered him. We will hear that Mr. Johnson heard the defendant say something to Miss Jackson about a flag and a tower. We will not hear that Mr. Jackson gave any instruction or order to Miss Jackson to go to the top of the clock tower. We will hear from the Dean of Columbia University, Jesse Thomas. He will testify that Mr. Archer has organised anti-hazing rallies. He will testify that Mr. Archer has campaigned to cut down underage drinking on campus. He will tell you that Mr. Archer volunteers to help the homeless and tutor local children. He will even tell you that Mr. Archer has publicly denounced hazing of any kind. Your Honours, we will hear from Mr. Archer himself. He will testify that the Phi Gamma fraternity only conducts harmless pranks on pledges. Pranks such as cleaning a toilet with a toothbrush or eating food sprinkled with hot pepper, far from the reckless endangerment of the night of November 20th. He will testify that the Phi Gamma fraternity discourages underage drinking. And he will testify that far from causing the tragic death of Miss Jackson, he tried everything in his power to save her. He went to the top of the clock tower, he talked to her, and he even physically tried to stop her from falling by placing a hand on her shoulder, putting himself in danger in the process. Your Honours, the evidence will show that no one present on the night of November 20th saw or heard Mr. Archer tell Miss Jackson to go to the top of the clock tower. The evidence will show that Miss Jackson had been drinking on the night of November 20th. What happened on the night of November 20th was a tragic accident, but it was just that, an accident. The prosecution must prove that Mr. Archer is guilty of involuntary manslaughter and that he violated the criminal anti-hazing statute, and they must prove this beyond all reasonable doubt. You hold a young man's life in your hands. If you have any doubt that he caused the tragic death of Miss Milan Jackson, then you must find him not guilty. Thank you.